Hey, good evening. It's Red Pill 66, and it is Monday, February 15th, 2021. And I am coming to you. I'm a little bit on the sad side today. Today would have been my mother's 74th birthday. Oh, no, sorry, 75th birthday. And she passed away this past April in a nursing home. And normally my sister and I would get together, have some calamari made for my mother, bring her some good Italian food that we would make at home. And this is our first birthday without her. And in a few more days, with the 18th, would have been my dad's 80th birthday. And we lost him in 2004. So February is not one of my favorite months. But as time goes on, I know it gets a little bit easier. So right now, I am going to ask anybody that is watching right now on YouTube, can you please, please, please like, subscribe, and share my broadcast? I would really appreciate that. If I end up talking a little slow, it is because I am a little bit scattered and I am tired, but I haven't done a video in a couple of days, so I figured I'd get one done today. So, I think today the first article I'm actually going to bring up, I know you've all heard about it, Parler is back. And pretty much my whole account is back up, which is great. You can find me at Red Pill 66 on Parler. You can find me at Red Pill 66 on Gab. Finally got that straightened out. I am going to bring up this article from today that talks about this great thing with Parler being back. And they've got their own servers, which is awesome. And it's from the Epoch Times. And the Epoch Times, I'll tell you today, was just going like gangbusters on Parler from what I could see. The social media app Parler is back online with a new hosting service. Parler, a social media platform favored by conservatives, resumes service on February 15th with new management coming about a month after Amazon Web Services suspended the site from its servers. The company moved to a new server farm, said Interim Chief Executive Mark Meckler in a statement. He said new users should be able to sign up for the service within a week or so. We are off the big tech platform so that we can consider ourselves safe and secure for the future, Meckler said in a release. He didn't disclose which service provider is hosting Parler, which actually is a really good thing because Media Matters and different companies would end up going after who those servers are to deplatform again. Meckler said the firm is using artificial intelligence programs and human editors to investigate speech that violates its terms of service agreement. Cancel culture came for us and hit us with all they had, yet we couldn't be kept down. We're back and we're ready to resume the struggle for freedom of expression, data sovereignty, and civil discourse. We thank our users for their loyalty during this incredibly challenging time, part owner Dan Bongino said in a release. Meckler was tapped as a company CEO after his predecessor, John Matz, was let go by the company several weeks ago. On January 29, 2021, the Parler board, controlled by Rebecca Mercer, decided to immediately terminate my position as CEO of Parler. I did not participate in this decision, Matt said, according to Fox News. I understand that those who now control the company have made some communications to employees and other third parties that have unfortunately created confusion and prompted me to make this public statement. Following the November 3rd, 2020 election, Parler saw a significant spike in users as many moved from Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms because of censorship concerns. In the wake of former President Donald Trump's suspension from Twitter, Google and Apple removed Parler from their app stores, and days later, Amazon terminated its hosting service agreement with the company. Parler, in response, filed a lawsuit last month against Amazon, arguing that the company violated antitrust laws and colluded with other big tech firms to deplatform the website. The company alleged in a court filing that Amazon was primarily concerned with whether Trump would have moved to Parler rather than alleged violations. Parler officials didn't immediately respond to the request by the Epoch Times for comment. So that actually, I believe, is a great article. I'm so happy that Parler is back. I loved Parler. I had no issues with Parler. One of the things that I think some other platforms are going to need to do is they're going to have to get some sort of live streaming going. Something today that actually I found interesting is on my Facebook account, I was actually asked to do a survey, and the questions they were asking was very targeted. Had to do with the Second Amendment, religion, and then they threw a couple of other things in there that I definitely was not interested in. And I think they're going to start to target people. I should be able to live stream on Facebook as of today, but I chose not to. Only because I just didn't feel like setting it back up again. Because they had stopped me from live streaming, I violated community standards. So I'm done with it. And if I didn't follow certain people that I can only get on Facebook, I may look some of those other people up to see where they're at, so that way I can follow them in other places. In my last broadcast that I did, I actually read an article, and it was the person, deputy press secretary, that had gotten suspended without pay for a week because he went after and threatened another reporter doing a story on the fact he was dating somebody, an Axios reporter, and this other reporter was going to do an article on it. And he threatened and said, "I will end you if you print that." So I'm going to bring that article up right now so we can go over that quick. Let me see what I've got. Let me see. No, No, not that one. Not that. Where is it? Oh, that's not it either. I did a bunch of them, so hold on a sec. Let me just bring this up and see if I can share it that way. Yeah, I struggle a little bit, and I'm sorry. I just had a... There we go. All right, here we go. Here's the article. Now I'm going to share it. Come on. Oh, now everything's freezing? Are you kidding me? Browser's not responding. Are you kidding me? Hey y'all, I'm back again. I am not sure what happened that I froze like that, but holy cannoli. I was like, what the heck happened? So I'm back, and I'm not sure. My whole browser just froze. I'm terribly, terribly sorry. So let me share my screen again. And it probably was because I wanted to share something that had to do with Biden's administration. But here we go. And this was from the Times of Israel. Biden's deputy press secretary resigns after threatening a reporter. TJ Ducklo quits over sexist, profane comments to a journalist seeking to cover his relationship with another reporter. Washington AP. White House Deputy Press Secretary T.J. Ducklo has resigned the day after he was suspended for issuing a sexist and profane threat to a journalist seeking to cover his relationship with another reporter. Ducklo had been put on a week-long suspension without pay on Friday after a report surfaced in Vanity Fair outlining his sexist threats against a female political journalist to try to suppress a story about his relationship, telling her, "I will destroy you." The journalist has been seeking to report on his relationship with the political reporter at Axios, who had previously covered the Biden campaign and transition. In a statement Saturday, Ducklo said he was devastated to have embarrassed and disappointed my White House colleagues and President Biden. No words can express my regret, my embarrassment, and my disgust for my behavior, he said. I used language that no woman should ever have to hear from anyone, especially in a situation where she was just trying to do her job. It was language that was abhorrent, disrespectful, and unacceptable. I think it's amazing because you know what's going to happen now? He's probably going to just go and get another job and he'll never have any repercussions from this. Why? Because he works for a Democrat. Before Politico broke the story Tuesday, People magazine published a glowing profile of the relationship. It was the first time either one had publicly acknowledged that they were dating. It's the first departure from the new administration less than a month into President Joe Biden's tenure, and it comes as the White House was facing criticism for not living up to the standards set by Biden himself in a decision to retain Ducklo. During a virtual swearing in for staff on Inauguration Day, Biden said that if you ever work with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I will fire you on the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, Biden added. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki faced a flurry of questions about the controversy Friday, with reporters highlighting Biden's comments and questioning his decision to merely suspend Ducklo for a week. So my assumption is that they told him he needed to resign. There was no way they were going to let him back. Confronted with these comments from the president, Psaki said on Friday that Ducklo's conduct doesn't meet our standards, it doesn't meet the president's standard, and it is important that we take a step to make that clear. She pointed to apologies made by top members of the White House communications team and Ducklo himself to Politico reporter as ample moves reflecting the seriousness of the situation. On Saturday, Psaki, I cannot say Raggedy Ann's name correctly, so I'm just going to say Raggedy Ann when I read these articles, said in a statement that Ducklo's decision came with the support of White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain. Oh boy, was that a Freudian slip. And added that we are committed to striving every day to meet the standards set by the president and treating others with dignity and respect, with civility, and with the value of others through our words and our actions. So you could find this article in the Times of Israel, and it was written by Alexandria Jaffe. That was actually a good article. And I'm not surprised that they made him step down, to be honest with you. He was a scumbag, in my opinion. Just to say, put that out there, I thought he was a scumbag. And hopefully my feed won't freeze. So we've done that. Oh, yeah. I have quite a few things to go over here. We're going to go over some local news. We have been, a certain group that I am affiliated with, we have been talking about the fact that the CCP has their hands in what goes on in Massachusetts. And that they have their hands in, my throat got dry here. I'm sorry, I gotta get a drink. That they have their hands in a lot of our businesses here. And a lot of us were really worried about the fact that they were going to have anything to do with our rail system, our trains, or anything. And in all honesty, right now, this article and everything that they say in this article kind of pissed me off. So let me just pull this up real quick here. And this came from Mass Live. And I hope you can see the article. Yep, there it is. Looks good. So it's sharing okay. So I am going to read it right now. Springfield's CRRC rail car factory plays catch up in 2021 as China relations tariff fights ease. Now, this is from Mass Live. And what's quite interesting with this is they're going to bash Donald Trump. The fact that you want parts from China, I don't get it. I don't understand it. They're out to take over the whole world, and you're going to get parts from China. All right, this article was written by Jim Kinney, and he can be reached at jkinney@repub.com. And you got a picture here. MBTA staff operate one of the new red line cars made by CRRC in China. Additional red line cars will be assembled in Springfield. I need to read that again because that just didn't sound right. Again, the new red line cars made by CRCC in China. So we're getting our trains from China. Do you see something wrong with that? I do. The MBTA promised its riders they'd see new CRRC built red line cars by the end of 2020, and the transit system delivered with less than a day to spare. That's par for the course for Chinese-owned CRRC MA, where work to replace aging red line and orange line cars is still about a year behind schedule. Problems with equipment, supplies, and the workforce began even before the coronavirus pandemic disrupted both operations at the Springfield factory and its supply chain, which stretches back to China. Mechanical problems, including noise coming from the undercarriage and troubled with doors, cropped up on the Orange Line cars already in service in the Greater Boston in late 2019. Vince Conti, CRRC's Mass Director of Business Administration, acknowledged the issues. Lessons learned from overcoming and under-delivering based on undertrained workforce, Conti said. Unfortunately, the MBTA paid the price for that. And to that, a fraught trade relationship between the U.S. and China, one that deteriorated over the last 4 years. The Trump administration slapped 25% tariffs on rail cars and parts, as some in Washington complained that the Chinese, by establishing the CRRC here, were trying to destroy international competitors. And that is their game. They want to be the number one everywhere, and that where everybody gets their supplies from. Yeah. The CRRC says it's looking forward to a brighter 2021 with new leadership in Washington, more and better trained workers, and a smoother supply chain as it ramps up production, not just for Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, but also for Philadelphia and Los Angeles. So what does that tell you? They're in big metropolitan areas, and they could do things to take our trains out. It's scary. Change. Oh, hold on one second. I just want to double check and make sure I got no new messages. Okay, so changes will come under the Biden administration, said U.S. Rep. Richard Neal last year. Neal brokered a deal buying time for the CRRC when lawmakers wanted to bar it from getting any federal transportation money. I think they're probably going to get more careful introspection on the use of tariffs, Neal said. I think that the reviews need to be comprehensive and need to be robust. But Neal said China still faces criticism about unfair trade practices. They use economic means and, in some cases, the threat of military might in Hong Kong to expand their economic interests, he said. That's why agreements like the new North American Trade Pact and multilateral trade deal with Europe or European unions are important, and also the American relationship with China. I'm not going to read this article any longer, but you can actually read this article for yourself. Read this article for yourself. Yeah, sorry. My live feed came up on my phone, and all of a sudden I could hear myself talking. That's a little bit crazy. But anyway, you can finish reading this article, and it is in Mass Live. This was from today, 6:38 this morning. So I'm going to stop sharing that. And I'm just going to check to see if I have any comments here yet. Nope, no comments. But it looks like I'm still... It's looking good there. Right now, I have no comments. I have no issues. Everything's still live streaming. That's a good sign. Let's see what we got next here that we can what we can discuss. Okay. Oh yeah. Let's talk about this one. I am not a fan of Ayanna Pressley, or Senator Warren. They are not my favorite people. Pressley, there's no way she got voted back in Massachusetts. We believe there was a fix in, just like with Elizabeth Warren. The fix was in, and we need to be done with them. I will be very happy when both of them are no longer in office. So we're going to bring this one up right now. There we go. Hopefully my share will work. I think I need a new mouse, everybody. And I'll be bringing, hopefully, I'll have a new one coming soon. Now, a lot of people say things about Pressley on her looks, and I will never say that, ever. What I don't like about her is her rhetoric. And that she wants the police defunded, that she was one of the ones who said that we needed to have take the fight to the streets. I can't deal with either one of them. Excuse me, let me bring this up a little bit. I had a great dinner tonight, and it's wanting to come out for another visit, if you catch my meaning. Black indigenous women die at rates 3 or 4 times the rate of Caucasian women due to pregnancy-related causes. Massachusetts members of Congress are among the sponsors renewing the push to pass the Anti-Racism in Public Health Act. It would expand federal research and investment into the public health impacts of structural racism and require the federal government to take public health approach to combating police violence. How this has anything to do with women's health? You notice how they throw police violence? There's very little police violence in Massachusetts. Rep. Ayanna Pressley, Democrat, Massachusetts, pointed out COVID-19 is the third leading cause of death for Black Americans right now, and police brutality is the sixth leading cause of death for Black men. Can they throw out how many white men have died? This kind of stuff pisses me off. Anyway. We know that Black folks specifically are more likely to contract, be hospitalized, and die from the coronavirus, Pressley said, Pressley observed. And with the deployment of COVID-19 vaccines, our community is less likely to have access due to vaccine redlining, misinformation, and racial disparities in life expectancy. Pressley noted within a 3-mile radius in her district, average life expectancy drops from 92 years in Back Bay, a white affluent area, to 59 years in Roxbury, a low-income and majority Black area. Many Roxbury residents won't live to the age 65 when they would be eligible for the COVID vaccine. Now, as of now, within the next few months, I think they'll have enough vaccines that a lot of people will get them. And they're going by age because they're more frail. I just can't. The law would establish a Center for Anti-Racism at the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, as well as National Law Enforcement Violence Prevention Program. Sarah Coombs, Director for Health Systems Transformation for the National Partnership for Women and Families, said data collection is going to be key in these efforts. She noted data shows Black and Indigenous women dying at rates 3 or 4 times the rate of Caucasian women due to pregnancy-related causes. Black women cannot buy or educate their way to healthier outcomes, Coombs argued. My hope is that the Center for Anti-Racism will not just focus on COVID-19, but all health disparities that are affecting BIPOC communities. Coombs contended, too often people in positions of power point to individual responsibilities and life choices for why more Black, brown, and Indigenous people face negative health outcomes when disparities are actually caused by centuries of structural racism. She hopes the bill will help educate more Americans about the real root cause of health disparities. I don't agree with any of this. It's almost like they're saying that if you are Black or Indigenous, you're too stupid to get the help you need? I don't get it. Oh, I don't. So nowhere in here does it talk about Senator Warren at all, but she's another pain in the butt in this state. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, let's see. Any comments? No, that's good. No comments. So I am not even going to talk about what I really want to say because I'll be considered racist, and I am not. I am far from it. So here we go. We've got, I'm going to delete that one so that way I don't redo it again. And I did that article already. Yeah, let's just get this stuff closed out. There we go. Alrighty. And again, YouTube. If you could, please like my video, subscribe, and share it. Please share it. I'm actually going to bring this up. I had a conversation with Gab Support today, and they told me that if I can get verified if I have a verified account somewhere else, which I do with Parler. So I'm going to see if that works. If not, they said I have to have 10,000 followers. Well, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So my account won't be verified, but I'm going to see if they can do it because I am verified with Parler. Alrighty, so let's see here. Oh yes, I can get rid of that one too. What should we talk about now? Should I talk about Border Patrol being unable to control the influx of illegals at the border, thanks to Biden? Mass lawmakers urged to pass End-of-Life Options Act. Or mass peace advocates lay out hopes for the future of nuclear weapons. What do you think? Anybody out there want to weigh in here? If not, I'm just going to pick one. I think I'm just going to pick one. Let's do this one. Border Patrol unable to control influx. Let's see. Oh, I didn't pull that article up, so hold on a second. Here we go. I'm going to have to pull this up. Sorry, everybody. The one I picked, I didn't. I didn't pull it up. Oh my Lord. Sometimes I'm not too bright, I'll tell you. And that's just from being tired after work. This one I got from the Golden State Times. I get emails from him. And I will tell you, I love Golden State Times. All right, let's get ready to share. Are you ready? I'm going to share this screen. Here we go. Alrighty. Border Patrol unable to control the influx of illegals at the border. What we know. Border Patrol agents are being overwhelmed with the surge of migrants in part of Texas that have had to restart catch and release policies, turning people loose into the U.S. as the first signs of migrant surge emerges under President Biden. Border agents unable to handle migrant surge in Texas, fear it will spread. Border Patrol finds 10.7 pounds of cocaine in SUV driven by a 19-year-old near Oceanside. Surge of unaccompanied minors at the border poses a challenge for Biden administration. This is crazy. The United States border agents at an immigration checkpoint stopped 2 human smuggling attempts in commercial vehicles within a day of each other, leading to the arrest of 138 individuals, including a convicted sex offender, as well as 2 U.S. citizen drivers. Crazy. The latest news and information from around the agency follow the CBP leadership on Twitter. This is just a little bit of a small update. But my concerns with this would be the fact that here we are in the middle of a pandemic. And you're allowing people to come in from other countries so that we can just spread it even more? I don't get it. I just don't get it. And it really makes me wonder what this new administration is thinking. They really don't care about the American people. They don't. I just have to shake my head. Because in all honesty, the Biden administration is killing this country already, and they haven't even made it a month yet. Okay, here in Massachusetts, lawmakers are in the process and they're urged to pass End-of-Life Options Act. Now, to be honest with you, this is one that I will agree with. Being a pet owner, which I am, I've had to put down numerous dogs over the years because you don't want them in pain anymore. You don't want them to suffer. We treat our pets better than we treat human beings. If at the End-of-Life Options Act is passed, Massachusetts will join 10 other jurisdictions across the country that have authorized medical aid in dying. This article I got from the Public News Service. And this was February 10th, 2021. And I happened to just come across this today. Boston, Mass. Group of advocating for terminally ill Massachusetts residents say a bill reintroduced this session, the End-of-Life Options Act, could give people autonomy over their death and relief from needless suffering. Lee Marshall, a Gloucester psychotherapist and former registered nurse, was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer in October of 2018, and now advocates for folks to have the right to decide when the pain and suffering reaches the point where quality of life is no longer there. And medical aid in dying would allow me the sort of comfort that if it happens to me, I have a way to relieve my suffering, so I am in control, Marshall explained. Nearly 75% of Americans support medical aid in dying, according to a Gallup polling from last May, a 6-point jump from the same survey conducted before the COVID-19 pandemic began. State Senator Joe Comfort, Democrat, Northampton, one of the bill's co-sponsors, said public opinion has created a new appetite for End-of-Life Options Act. Similar bills have failed in past legislative sessions, and she hopes to see more of her colleagues come on board this time. There are more and more people contacting the legislature to tell their own stories, Comerford observed. Either those who are facing an end of life or those who have helped loved ones through it or are helping loved ones through it. Comfort added, not only does she have responsibility to heed the calls of her constituents, but she believes folks should be able to make a decision about end-of-life treatment with their loved ones and their doctors, guided by medical standard of care. And I'm going to turn that around another way. Massachusetts is so liberal when it comes to abortions. You can kill a baby in the womb, but you can't end your life if you're that ill. They should be able to do it. I watched my dad suffer horribly with cancer. Horribly. And if we had given him the choice to go before all that horrible pain started, and what my sister and I had to do for him, even with hospice care, what we went through, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And I don't want to ever have to go through that again. And if he had the choice to go when the pain first started to get really bad, because, the cancer had gone to the brain, he could have gone more comfortably than what had actually happened. So where are we? We have 50 minutes. Okay, I have one more article that I'm going to bring up. In Massachusetts, it's going to make me mad because stuff doesn't work the way I want it to. Oh, yeah. I think I got to make some adjustments to this computer. Anyway, mass peace advocates lay out hopes for a future of no nuclear weapons. And I will bring this up because one of my least favorite, can you tell I don't like many Democrat from my state? I do not. Ed Markey, he won his reelection by them bringing in a unknown Republican to take out a very popular Republican. Dr. Shiva? Yes, Dr. Shiva. And Dr. Shiva wanted to contest what had happened. Yeah, it just they brought this other guy in just to give the votes to Ed Markey, who has been in the Senate for way too long. So this is another one from Public News Service. And this came out on January 25th. I hadn't seen it. But Boston, with the United Nations treaty banning nuclear weapons now in place, Massachusetts advocates for peace, including Senator Ed Markey, Democrat of Mass, are laying out their hopes for the future of nuclear weapons policy. Not a single nation with nuclear weapons ratified the international agreement, although more than 50 non-nuclear states did. Markey said nuclear power, such as the U.S., are likely to surrender their arsenal and join the treaty anytime soon. But even if we can see that nuclear weapons will not disappear overnight, we can at least work on measures to ensure that Hiroshima and Nagasaki will never be repeated. This guy is a freaking idiot. Because Russia's never going to get rid of their nuclear weapons. These other countries that have them are never going to get rid of them. And we're just going to get rid of them. They're out of their freaking minds, these people. They really want the United States to fail. Markey stated he plans to reintroduce a bill in the Senate that would require congressional declaration of war before presidents can authorize a nuclear weapon launch, as well as urging President Joe Biden and the Senate to make cuts to defense spending on nuclear weapons. Ed Markey is in the CCP's pocket, just in case you didn't know. He noted it's more than the military budgets of China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and Iraq combined. The pandemic exposed the fissures of poverty, racism, and how bad our public health systems really are, but Barbara asserted federal funding for emergency preparedness and health care have been on a decline for 15 years while military budgets keep going up. Barbara also pointed out to research that found $1 billion in military spending creates roughly 11,200 jobs, while the same amount of money would create 26,000 jobs if it was invested in education, 1,600 jobs if it were put into clean energy, and 17,000 jobs in healthcare. These people. But I do have one more article I do want to bring up because I found this just before I went live. And it actually kind of put a smile on my face. And this will be the last one that I bring up. And yeah, I know I'm going a little slow. I'm a little drawn out here. But I click and things don't want to move for me. So let's, share this screen. God, that was disgusting. Hello. Here we go. This is from one of my favorites, the Epoch Times. There we go. It's finally up. And I was afraid that if I clicked it too many times, it was going to freeze up on me. This is from the Epoch Times today. House Republicans targeting 47 vulnerable Democrats to retake the House majority in 2022. And I think they're going to have an easier time doing this with what the Democrats just did with that sham impeachment again. House Republicans released a plan to retake the House majority in 2022 by targeting 47 districts with vulnerable Democrats. The National Republican Congressional Committee noted in a memo that the Republican Party is just 5 seats away from holding a majority in the House of Representatives, saying that the GOP can be competitive in 4 dozen districts. We are just a few weeks into the Biden administration, and Americans are already seeing the job-killing initiatives House Democrats support, stated the NRCC Chairman Tom Emmer in a release. We will relentlessly hold House Democrats accountable for their socialist agenda and ensure voters understand the damaging impact policies like defunding the police, government-run health care, and ending the Keystone XL pipeline will have on Americans' everyday lives. Emmer noted that in the House, the GOP is just 5 seats short of a majority and are prepared to build on it and on its 2020 success. The list includes 29 districts that either didn't support President Joe Biden or supported the House incumbent by 5 points or less. The GOP also identified 10 Democrats who might have redistricting issues next year, as well as 8 Democratic lawmakers who won by fewer than 10 points and also underperformed Biden. The GOP, Emmer added, will stay laser-focused on recruiting talented and diverse candidates, aggressively highlighting Democrats' socialist agenda, and raising enough resources to win. During the last election, Democrats lost a total of 11 seats. No House Republican incumbent was defeated, although they picked up 3 open GOP seats. Republicans controlled the House majority for 8 years before losing control to the lower chamber during the 2018 midterm elections. Some experts have noted that in modern times, the party that controls the presidency typically loses about 25 seats in the midterm elections. So, that's all I'm going to read on this article because I just want to end this here. It's in today's Epoch Times, and this was written by Jack Phillips. Oh, this is from February 10th, updated on February 10th. I don't know how I'm missing these articles, to be honest with you. I'm not seeing them apparently, and I don't have an issue with that. But that's just something that I have been talking about anyways with all of these House races, Senate races. We need to start getting behind Trump candidates, people that are going to be America first, not in their pocket first, America first. That's where we need to go. And I hear rumors of Don Jr. possibly being a contender in Wyoming against Liz Cheney. That'd be awesome. Then I heard Ivanka may run in North Carolina. That would be awesome. Now you just got to get Eric Trump somewhere. That'd be funny. And you'll just have Trumps everywhere. That would actually infuriate the Democrats, just infuriate them. So what I'm going to do now is end it here. And the only reason I'm going to end it is because I have just hit the hour mark. And you do that, and it takes a long time to upload. So I want you all to have a great night. Stay safe. And we're ending it here. Good night.